So with the holiday season coming up, there's no greater gift than cardboard within cardboard, and luckily Nintendo has provided us with such a gift in the form of Nintendo Labo. But which kits are the best? Well, then let's just find out. Also, I'm in a sub race against the Christmas icon herself. Yes, that is right, Mariah Carey. So if we could surpass her by the end of the year, that would be pretty great. Anyways, let's just get started. And here at the bottom is the car, or what I'd say the bug, because I mean, just look at this thing. I mean, what kind of car looks like this? I mean, honestly, this looks like some next-gen hex bug or something like that, but I digress. The biggest reason why this is at the bottom is just because of how basic it is. I mean, and I know that's the point. This is supposed to be the first one that you're supposed to, unbox. It's supposed to be the simplest one because it only takes like, what, 10 minutes to build the thing? But aside from that, it's just a little bit more of like a novelty more than a game. I mean, it's kind of like Mario Kart Live, even though that game was a lot more of a game than this is. All you do is just kind of, put together the cardboard and then you slap your Joy-Cons on it, and then, the vibrations from the HD rumble, allows it to move. Which, I mean, yes, it's cool, don't get me wrong, but I mean, that's all it is. It's literally just moving cardboard. Like I said before, it's quite literally just a hex bug, but bigger and doesn't have all the crazy stuff you could do with hex bugs. And next is the fishing rod, and this is a really fun Toy-Con to build, but the thing about this game that really kind of bogs it down is that it's very, very basic. I mean, I just think of how cool it really emulates a fishing rod. I mean, it has like the little clicky sound whenever you turn like whatever, the rotor. I'm not an expert in fishing, so don't like attack me for not saying the proper like terms or anything like that, but the little thing that you turn, like the crank or whatever, and then makes a little clicky sound, like that is honestly just so cool. And the fact that whenever you move the fishing rod around, the string in game follows the real life string, like just all the things about the fishing rod make it so cool, and it's a really fun toy to build, like I said. But again, like I said, the game is extremely basic. I mean, obviously it's fishing, what more do you expect? But there's no like, I don't know, high score based thing or catch the biggest fish in a certain time or anything like that. Like, you literally just fish, and that is it. And I mean, pun not intended, it's a very shallow game. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's more of a game than I guess the one before it, the car/bug type thing. But still, it's just basic fishing and nothing more. And next we have the piano, and I want to say that this is a very fun kit to build. I mean, come on, you're literally building like a real working piano out of cardboard. Like, how cool is that? But again, it suffers from the game being extremely basic. And I know that's going to be probably like potentially a common theme with a lot of these games, but honestly, I feel like not every game should just be such a lackluster kind of game. I mean, especially the piano. I mean, this is probably like the hardest, most difficult one to build because you're literally having to build the individual keys and put them on, and it uses, the IR camera technology with the reflective stickers and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's crazy the things that are going on, but to have it only be just like, oh, you press a button and you play the piano, like that's it. There's no, I don't know, game or anything to go along with it or anything like that. I mean, of course, it's like the music creation system and that kind of thing, but honestly, I feel like Wii Music was more fleshed out than this. And once again, I mean, it's fun to build, but I mean, there's just not a lot of sustenance to this one, especially considering how long it took to build the piano. And this is probably the most fleshed out of the bunch. The house kit just really is an amazing one to build. Like I said, it's similar to the piano where it's very big, very time consuming to build, and the end result is honestly pretty cool, although not as cool as the piano because, you're not pressing a key and hearing actual music played. The biggest thing that this has going for it is the fact that it's the most gamey one of all of them, because this game is more akin to Nintendogs, where you're taking care of what I think is an animal. I don't know really what this is, but I mean, just fiddling around with this thing and how you're able to just interact with it with the Toy-Cons by inserting different things into the house, it's honestly just really fun and really interesting what you can do with here. I mean, of course you can play around with it in like the little house, but if you insert certain things, you can play like little mini games with it. And honestly, it's just really fun because, like I said before, it's just like Nintendogs. You're just taking care of this little thing where you have to play mini games to feed it and that kind of thing. So I mean, honestly, it's pretty fun, not gonna lie. And of course the building was equally fun as well because it was a fairly time-consuming thing to do. The end result was pretty fun, and honestly, there was a lot more sustenance here than any of the other ones said before. And next is the vehicle, and honestly, there really isn't a lot to say. I mean, all you kind of do is just build the pedals, build the steering wheel, and pretty much all you do is just control the different vehicles. And I mean, it's kind of fun, don't get me wrong, but it just feels like a basic kit, if that makes any sense. I mean, I don't mean basic in the terms of like, the last one, the car kit, where all it was using vibrations to move cardboard. But I mean, I just feel like, I don't know, very neutral to this one. I mean, there's cool things you can do with it, like you can play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with it, which is really fun. But honestly, I just felt like the game was the novelty of being able to control different vehicles with, the steering wheel, which I mean, I guess is fun. But like I said before, there's really just not a lot to say here. I mean, it's just kind of middle of the road, which is why I placed it here. And now we're getting to the really good ones. So here at number 3 is the robot kit. And oh my goodness, this one is very special. I don't know why a lot of people seem to not like this one. I think this one is really great. I mean, like the ones that I've said before that are fun to build, this one is no exception. It's very fun to build. Yes, there's a lot of wires or cables or whatever you want to call them, flailing around everywhere. But honestly, it still is a pretty fun kit to build. But the thing that this has really going for it is just the full body mobility. I mean, this thing is a lot more interactive than Ring Fit Adventure, if I'm gonna be totally honest. I mean, you literally have the cardboard backpack, and then you have all these, different areas, that you have to hold, and then you have the visor coming down, and you literally feel like you're controlling the robot within the game. And talking about the game is honestly pretty fun. I mean, yeah, all you do is just kind of, destroy stuff and go through the missions and that kind of thing. But it legitimately is pretty fun, not gonna lie. I mean, there's something so gratifying about being in this cardboard mech suit and then seeing yourself in the game destroying things. I don't know what it is, but there's just some kind of novelty to it that is honestly really fun. If I had to say one bad thing about this kit, it's honestly the fact that the yellow suit that's shown in the promotional videos should have been included, because honestly, without that suit, I feel like my gaming experience is just not fully interactive. I mean, I don't feel like I'm really there without this Toy-Con suit. I mean, the Smash Bros characters got it, so I mean, come on, we should be able to get it in real life, right? I mean, the Labo is already expensive as is, so why not throw in whatever, a rubber suit in there as well? And the runner-up is the motorbike, and honestly, I feel like this one is just a more redefined version of the vehicle kit. So of course, the usual. It's fun to build, the game is pretty fun, but what makes the game really fun is that it's not just, oh, look at the novelty of being able to drive, like a submarine or a car or that kind of thing. You legitimately are just out here driving your little motorcycle, and you're doing races. Yes, they're very basic and you can get over with them pretty quickly, but the fact that they're there, kind of like Mario Kart in a way, it just makes it a lot more interactive and a lot more fun. And that's not even going over the track builder. I mean, you're literally able to just drive around, and that's what creates the track. Similar to Mario Kart Home Circuit, which is honestly, that was pretty fun, but having to do it in, a 3D environment where you're not limited to the laws of, I guess, gravity to make your tracks is honestly just a lot more fun, and really makes, something that is honestly a lot more lasting than all the other games. And that's not even going over the kind of balloon battle ripoff they have going on. I don't know what it is, but it's still pretty fun as well. And speaking of balloon battle, this is also a kit that's compatible with a lot of other games, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You can literally play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with, this as well as the steering wheel from the vehicle kit. And I know it's janky, and I know it doesn't really work, and I don't think anybody actually uses it. I mean, some people do use it when it first came out as a little novelty, but nowadays I don't think anybody uses it, if I'm gonna be totally honest, because I mean, what's the point? But other than that, this is a very, very solid kit, but this would have been number 1 if it wasn't for this kit. And I'm not too sure how unexpected this one is, but the VR kit is number 1. And I mean, come on, it's a VR set. What more could you ask for? And not only that, it's a VR kit made out of cardboard. I mean, come on, you're literally playing in VR with a piece of cardboard, and you can do this in so many games. I mean, you can do this in Mario Odyssey, you can do it very limited, but you can still do it in Smash Bros. You can do it in Breath of the Wild. I mean, there's just a lot of options to what you can do with the VR set. And that's not including the Labo games that come with the kit as well. I mean, yeah, they're very basic, but honestly, they're a great way to really introduce, I guess, the Nintendo world to VR, because outside of, the Virtual Boy, which I guess we don't really need to talk about, I mean, this is Nintendo's first real time diving into the VR scene, so it's honestly really cool how they're able to do it with a piece of cardboard of all things. But unfortunately, going back to the Virtual Boy, the biggest caveat with this kit is that there isn't a head strap, and that's the biggest thing. Whenever you want to play a game or do anything with the VR kit, you literally have to just hold it with your bare hands, or I guess at least with one of your hands, because I mean, like I said before, there really is no head strap. So what are you supposed to do when you want to, I guess, play IRL VR, where you want to, have free mobility with both your hands and your head? I mean, it just doesn't work, because I mean, obviously you'll fall off. But honestly, aside from that, it's just super ingenious on how they're literally able to just hook up to some game and play it in VR. I mean, that is just the most Nintendo thing ever. How, of all things to dive into virtual reality, the first thing they do it with is a piece of cardboard. I mean, come on, just that alone is just an amazing novelty. And that's every kit ranked. Now, I do want to say that I think Nintendo Labo is genius in what it is, and the creativity of building something yourself and using it to play games is just honestly super ingenious. Just the biggest issue with it is that most of the games are just very shallow and a lack of content. And I'm aware that, it's something that's not really designed for me, as, the name would imply. These are supposed to be toys like, Legos, where, the only thing that you're told to do is to build a thing, and then you just let your creativity do the rest, which again, it's pretty great, but this is something like that's fragile cardboard. This is not interchangeable Legos, so there's kind of a big difference there. Anyways, overall, like I said, Labo is so clever with how kits are used, and once again, this just proves that Nintendo is one of the, if not the most creative, video game company that exists today. But that's just me. If you have your own ranking, then definitely let me know down in the comments, because I love hearing you guys and, what your opinions are on all this. And if you enjoyed, of course, leave a like and subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, I guess I'll see you in the next one. Take care.